we're ready to roll. Ricky Flex, you're now on the clock for best animated movies, 21st century, non-Disney or Pixar.
Okay. The reason I wanted the first pick was because the end of my board, I have like 35, 40 movies on my big board. But after I get past 10, I don't really have like the next 10 to the next, like after 10, the next 20, I could just mix and mangle. So I really kind of want to get my first 10 here. That's why I went with the first pick. With the first pick, obviously, I had the first pick last time, like I mentioned, with the Iron Giant. This time, I cannot pick that. So what am I going to go with? Into the Spider-Verse 2018. We talked about it a lot this summer with Across the Spider-Verse coming out. I still am an Into the Spider-Verse guy, even though Across the Spider-Verse was amazing. Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite animated movie in the 21st century. That's the 1-1 for me.
Thoughts, Nez?
Great pick, 1-1. I was hoping that maybe it would drop. We would go with something more kiddie so that I could draft it. And yeah, I mean, it's just an absolutely great animated movie. Most animated movies that we'll be drafting today, a lot of them are geared towards kids. This is one that is pretty like geared towards kids, but it, so many adults enjoyed it. The soundtrack is amazing. The animation style is incredible. And I have no disputes over this at all. This is a great pick.
Yeah, I didn't have a dispute with the number one overall. It would have been what I picked. You do have those who would argue the sequel would be the 1-1 overall.
That will hurt.
It might be too early to tell because I mean, like, Into the Spider-Verse was such a revolutionary type of animated movie. It was a game changer. And you see the influence recently from like other animated Phil Lord, Chris Miller movies. You have like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that just came out and that we reviewed, and you clearly see some influences despite it not being the exact same format of animation. This is the one that kind of like launched animation to a different stratosphere, and it wins an Oscar for Best Animated Feature as a superhero movie, one that didn't have like high expectations when it was released, but now it is arguably the best thing that we have in superhero films overall, animated or not.
It broke the Disney Pixar streak in the 2010s, for best animated feature film. So again, we talked about it a lot this summer. Into the Spider-Verse. Again, you're right. I won't get all the votes because some people will dispute saying Across the Spider-Verse now, but all in all, that's my favorite. That's my 1-1 personally. So that's what I went with. Went with the heart. Into the Spider-Verse.
Some say Pixar has never recovered.
Some say. You're a Luca guy, though. You're a Luca guy.
I am a Luca guy. I'm just saying.
Stand up. Same here.
They broke the streak and haven't been the same.
That's why I was interested when we were first proposing this idea for a draft. Maybe we don't say non-Disney or non-Pixar, and we just say the last decade of animated movies, because I would say Pixar wouldn't dominate the big board if we had the last decade when you say the best animated films. I know I'm not drawing like the first three picks aren't going to be Disney Pixar movies, right? Like I think that like Into the Spider-Verse is probably still going to be the 1-1 pick. I'm going to be taking Across the Spider-Verse, right? With my number 2 pick. I think that might go like either 1, 2, or 3 on the big board as well. This is why I wanted the number 2 pick, because it's a win-win for me. Like if I take Across the Spider-Verse number 2, it's like, oh, that's because Into the Spider-Verse wasn't available. If you got those who think like, okay, you should have taken Across the Spider-Verse, I could take Into the Spider-Verse because like, okay, I still win in that scenario because I had the number 2 pick. This movie, I mean, we didn't think it was possible to like live up to the expectations following the first film, and yet it did so, with people clamoring that it is on the same level or even surpasses Into the Spider-Verse. They expand it. They add all these different characters. The animation style, which made the first one so good, they like kind of level it up a notch with 200 different Spider-Men, these different worlds that they're going to that are uniquely animated. This was the easy second overall. I know we talked about this movie ad nauseum, so I'll leave it at that. Nez, any thoughts on the pick?
Interesting pick. All right, I'll come clean. I haven't seen.
Oh no.
Oh,
There it is.
You can't pull a Goodfellas though. You have to see this. I think it just came out on digital.
I will. I've been planning on seeing it for a while. My friend Schwartz was calling me for weeks trying to get me to come to the movies with him to go see it. I was always down, and then I always had something where I had to work late, so it always fell through. But I'm still looking to see it. I've heard nothing but great things about it, so I'm excited to check it
You've
out.
seen Barbie and Oppenheimer, though, right?
I've seen Barbie,
Not Oppenheimer.
not Oppenheimer. That one, you have to allocate some serious time for that one.
Do you know how many times I've seen that, by the way, Nez?
4.
I'm seeing it a 4th time next Saturday.
Are you seeing in IMAX, Ricky?
I haven't told you yet. I was going to save this for another time. IMAX 70 millimeter in New York. Yeah, can't wait. Cannot.
Very nice.
Did my invite get lost in the mail? What the hell? You're seeing a legit 70 millimeter, and I'm not invited. What is this?
I'll try to grab you a ticket.
Is this a day trip? Like, are you going?
Yeah. I was going to New York anyways.
Okay, thanks for telling me. Just because of that, I'm gonna make an argument why Across the Spider-Verse is better than Into the Spider-Verse. Okay, I mentioned it. I think the characters here, you have the lovable ones in Into the Spider-Verse, but Across the Spider-Verse, more meaningful, impactful characters. You got a great villain, Miguel O'Hara, and also the Spot. Great voice performances there. Still, doesn't matter how big that the sequel got, it still maintains the soul of Miles Morales. And I think the big thing is like the villain, like Kingpin, the villain Into the Spider-Verse, I thought was okay, wasn't too much in depth. I thought Miguel O'Hara's treatment here was excellent, and they teased an amazing villain from this movie going into Beyond the Spider-Verse with the Spot. You could argue he kind of exits the film and it's not explained too well, but still, amazing performance from Jason Schwartzman. One of my favorite performers in movies this year between this and Asteroid City. I think it's up there. I think the ending of the movie is being criticized because it's being treated as a part 1. I think the cliffhanger works better the second or third time that you see it. It's up there. It's really neck and neck to see which one is better, but I got to argue for that pick after you excluded me from the 70 millimeter.
I'll pass on that. Schwartzman, awesome in this. Awesome. Yeah, this voice cast was amazing. Everything about this movie was amazing. So Across the Spider-Verse, great pick.
All right, Nez, first rounder back on the pod. What do you got for your first pick and top billing since 2021?
First thing I want to say is I'm really happy to see us arguing again on top billing. Clearly, we understand who was the responsible for that turmoil.
100%.
Round 1, pick 3. Easiest pick I've ever had to make. It's got to be Shrek. It was an absolute hit when it came out. Amazing soundtrack, great story, including all sorts of old fairy tale creatures and stories that we've heard throughout our entire lifetime, incorporating that into its own story. I mean, not really. I just had like a bizarre thought of like, is this our first ever look into a multiverse? Kind of, because we had Snow White, we got Three Little Pigs, we got all these different stories, but I guess they all exist in that fairy tale kingdom. So hold that one for a second. It's just very interesting to see all of that, and them to just like be playing jokes on that while also creating their own brand new fairy tale with Smash Mouth in the background. Round 1, pick 3, Shrek. What do you think?
I think it's interesting that thought, how you have all these fairy tales that came together. It was like the first cinematic universe that wasn't a cinematic universe, just based on like your childhood. You hear these stories growing up, but also how they approach the characters. Like they're not afraid to kind of make fun of it after you hear like these heartwarming stories as a kid. And then you see like some of these characters are assholes. Like it's funny, and that's what Shrek does so well. Even Shrek himself isn't that likable of a dude. Like usually animated movies, you have like this person you care about and you love and you want to root for, but you're like, Shrek is kind of a dick. That just goes with but it's good that you pair him next to a donkey. Donkey you root for and you love and he makes you laugh. But Shrek is that yin to the yang, like perfect combination there. And I agree with you. What aged best about the Shrek movies is the soundtracks, specifically Shrek 1 and Shrek 2. It's one of the most underrated soundtracks that no one talks about. I think it's perfectly picked in certain moments. Even like it's like weird when you have like that Hallelujah song, then right before the third act, and it seems like this seems weird like on paper, but you see it in the moment, and you see a Shrek that's down in the dumps, and you see Fiona like thinking about marrying like Lord Farquaad, you're like, damn, I'm really hurt right now, you know. And famously, this movie made me cry when I was 6 years old. I know that was gonna come up, so I'm jumping in front of that. Yes.
Well played.
Yes, well played.
I jumped right in front of that.
You guys said a lot there. I'll just add again. You got to think of where like Disney and Pixar were at the time. Pixar not with Disney yet, but like you had Beauty and the Beast in the early '90s. Not like we did not have like Shrek was the first ever Oscar for best animated feature film, right? So before this though, there was not an Oscar for this. Beauty and the Beast early '90s gets a Best Picture nom. Right, so Disney's humming along. You have Lion King, you have Aladdin, Little Mermaid in the '90s. So they're just humming along, and you have Pixar just coming out of nowhere with Toy Story 1, Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., A Bug's Life. Shrek was, and yes, Prince of Egypt. I'll show respect to Nez here since he's on the pod. '98, yes, but Shrek was like, holy crap, DreamWorks. So this was a big movie for the time. Again, the first ever Oscar for best full feature animated movie, huge movie, and I think the casting behind this. Again, you mentioned how like Bill Murray's not likable, but if you look at the casting, like Mike Myers, it was one of the most likable guys in Hollywood at the time. Austin Powers, Chris Farley was supposed to be Shrek for God's sakes, before his death.
Filmed the movie with him.
Yeah, insane. So love the pick. This is my number 3 on my big board, so I love it.
Right on par. So Nez, you're now up to kick off the second round.
All right, awesome. Movie from the childhood. And I'm going with Madagascar.
Wow.
Fire soundtrack to that movie as well. Great casting. The casting and the voice actors in that movie are fantastic. We got some Ben Stiller, we got some Chris Rock, and it's quite the adventure. Let's just say that, you know. Going from the Central Park Zoo, making it all the way to Madagascar, you know, you see parts of the city. They do some Grand Central Station in that, and then you know you move all the way down to Madagascar. The story's good. I just love that movie. I remember just thinking about it. I could sit down and I could watch Madagascar today, and I first watched it when I was a young buck. So to kick off the second round, I'm going with Madagascar here.
That movie holds a special place in my heart. I still remember going to see that in theaters, 100% a nostalgia pick. But like the best part about that movie, the penguins. The penguins in that movie, they're up there with
Kowalski.
Donkey. They're up there with they're up there with Donkey for like my favorite supporting characters in 2000s animated films. Like they are absolutely legendary. Dude, they got a TV. They got a TV show out of this.
They got a movie.
And I will say, Madagascar, so quotable. How many times did you find yourself turning to your friend saying, "The New York Giants"? How many times have you said that?
I like to move it.
Oh my God,
dude! Just smile and wave, boys.
Smile and wave.
Smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
And dude, electric. The Penguins, my God. I will say, the first half of the movie for me works better than the second half. You know, from what I remember the second half. Once Ben Stiller's character, it's the lion, starts to try and Alex tries to eat the zebra, Chris Rock's character. I'm like, this is kind of going by the wayside. I don't know if I'm loving this as much anymore. But I like that pick. I didn't even think about it on my big board. I went like 17 movies deep. I love that we hit it in the second authentic pick. Flex, any thoughts on Madagascar? It's a big movie for us.
Oh, sorry. I thought I thought the internet went out for a second. I was like, oh no. No, love the pick. This was number 6 on my big board. Would not have gotten back to anybody if it came back to me. You guys again just said it all again. The penguins, I think, low key are my favorite, or are my favorite part of this movie. But I think I mentioned the song. I like to move it. That took over the world. Imagine if that came out today. Like we have a big craze with another animated franchise that I won't mention because it might get picked. If Madagascar came out today, the penguins and that song would be big on TikTok. So again, Madagascar movie, not like if it came out in 2023 would be even bigger. I love this pick. 2005 movie for the record.
King Julian was a top billing pick, I believe. In a future.
That was you.
To the party with. Someone you want to party with. King Julian?
I mean, come on. come on, how could you not pick King Julian to party with? That's an amazing guy to party with. He absolutely took over in the jungle over there. So I stand by that pick as well.
Final pick is another one that I guarantee was not on anybody else's top bill.
Here we go. Buckle up, folks.
I'm going with King Julian, the king lemur from Madagascar.
Sacha Baron Cohen.
Those lemurs go crazy. They get it popping.
If you are a member of the King Julian entourage, you were living. You were living in the entourage. Okay, going on with the second round. I'm going to take a film. I have a couple that are kind of, I wanted to diversify my picks from the last time we drafted, but I can't let Ricky Flicks get this movie because I know he talks about it. I know he's going to pick. I'm picking a Lego movie, 2014. Really uniquely animated. Feels like we talk about like Super Mario Brothers, like how it is faithful to like the games that people played growing up and those characters. And I think Legos, like they found a way to animate it in a way that was like, yeah, this is definitely a Lego movie. You know, it just seemed like it just captured it beautifully. Robbed for a Best Animated Feature Oscar nomination just because it has that sequence with Will Ferrell at the end of the movie in live action. Yet, what are they going to do with Across the Spider-Verse when that comes out? When they show like a part of live action there? No spoiler there, Nez. No specifics there. Just saying. But Chris Pratt. This is like in prime Chris Pratt territory. This is like same year as Guardians of the Galaxy. This is the time that Chris Pratt is taking over movie world at this point. The cast electric. I think also in terms of like I could point out all the names like Elizabeth Banks. I can go to Morgan Freeman. I can go Liam Neeson. Like you look it up yourself. But when you have all these characters that are from different IP on screen, that's where people are super excited. That's where it's not just you're getting the kids involved, you're getting adults involved. Like Morgan Freeman's playing Gandalf. You're like, I'm in, you know, I'm going to be there. Like it's just, you might say it leans on IP a little too much, but this was a game changer too. Like the way it looked on screen, we've never seen anything like it. Phil Lord, Chris Miller also did the Spider-Verse stuff. I'm happy I stole this from Flicks.
Yeah, this is my next pick. This movie is unbelievable. Everything is awesome. Another great song from this movie. That was, and again, shut out from the Best Animated nom. Huge crime. That is a crime of humanity. I still can't believe that to this day. And again, the cast. You mentioned Chris Pratt. This is when he was in his prime. Before, like, you know, obviously this past year, you know, criticized a little bit for Mario, but here, like, he's great as Emmett in this. And then you have Charlie Day kind of stealing the show as like the Space Odyssey guy. Yeah, thank you. Will Arnett as Lego Batman. Morgan Freeman, you mentioned. Liam Neeson as a good cop, bad cop. Like, unreal. And then Will Ferrell being Lord Business, like with protecting the Craggle. This movie is so clever, so funny. The look is amazing with the Lego look. Awesome. Good twist to our usual superhero protagonist in a IP heavy type of movie. Like you have the Green Lantern, Jonah Hill in this movie as well. And that has a great cameo. All in all, like I love this movie. I'm disappointed I couldn't pick it this time around. Great pick.
Definitely more of a strategy play. Like I wasn't even going to pick this, but knowing that Ricky Flicks is right behind me, I was going to take it. I'm hoping that my number 4 is actually going to still be around by the time the third round comes. But Nez, any thoughts on Lego Movie?
I you know what? As soon as you said it, just the song started playing in my head. It's a great movie, one that we've watched together very recently.
Yeah.
Just a fun time, right? You love to get on a movie and it's just like a fun ride. It makes you laugh. Like, actually, it makes you crack up. It's hilarious, the movie. The story is something that you could stick to and you don't really get distracted by all of the other stuff. And visually, it's actually very cool because it's unique and that it's made in Lego. So very cool the way that they did that, the way that they animated it. A big fan of that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is it the same director as, I don't want to sound dumb, but is it the same director as Spider-Verse?
As Into the Spider-Verse.
Yep. Okay. Got
and
it.
Across the Spider-Verse, different directors, but still they're Phil Lord and Miller are producing it and they got their hands on it for sure. Yeah, we did watch it recently. And then that was the first time I watched it in quite a long time. We went on an insane movie run on the RV, like at the festival. That was amazing.
Should we rattle it off quickly?
Yeah, yeah, let's do it.
Festival RV movies. We got Caddyshack, Revenge of the Sith, Lego Movie, and was there
Dark Knight.
Dark Knight,
Gladiator.
Oh my God, Gladiator!
Are you not
inspired me
entertained?
for an entire 24 hours. I was just
We
quoting
used Gladiator as a pregame. That's
Yeah.
what we did.
It's a
We
great
didn't need
pregame.
That's
anything
exactly
else.
what we did.
Yeah, I think it was those 5. Yeah, no,
Yep.
that's a murderer's row. It's hard not to have a good time when you watch those 5 movies. Good stuff. This is also one of the first like 3D animated movies. Am I wrong about that? Like this, it just seems like it's literally like you could grab the Legos off the screen. They look like that real and legitimate. I don't know what would be like because it seems like that's such a popular form of animation now, right? And like Spider-Verse does like the 2D so well, but the 3D that this movie provided, it felt really revolutionary. I don't know. I might have to fact
I kind of
check.
want to. I'm going through my big board. I have over 40 movies on here, and yeah, I would agree. That's like the first one that's really like 2014. That's like 3D. Yeah, I'd see that in 3D.
That should have been rewarded at the Oscars for being so new, so unique, and working in the manner it did. Like for me, that's just kind of like highway robbery that it wouldn't get recognized because it was so cool. Ricky Flex, you're now up. Cap off the second round.
Okay. I know one of my picks here. I'll pick Shrek 2. Okay. I'll pick Shrek 2. I will admit I'm more of a Shrek guy than a Shrek 2 guy now, but 5 years ago I wasn't. I actually liked Shrek 2 more up until recently, where I now like kind of an appreciation for Shrek. You know, back to your roots, grounded quote unquote fairy tale story, but no, just a typical
Bolted to
story.
the floor.
Typical adventure story. You get a dragon's trying to kill you. Yeah, no. Shrek 2 is just again that making fun of the fairy tale, but to the max, and I love that about that movie. And again, another great soundtrack. I still remember I own the CD to the soundtrack of Shrek 2. I think they do a great job with like the fairy tale Hollywood type of feel to it, having satire to the real world there. I think all in all, like awesome movie. I don't love it as much as Shrek anymore, but it's still one of the quintessential 21st century animated movies. Shrek 2.
This is so like Shrek soundtracks are so prolific. I remember when you got that CD, Ricky Flex, you got it before the movie came out. It was a gift, I believe, for like your birthday or something from her. It might have been from our sister. I don't really recall. But Accidentally in Love came out with the Counting Crows, and everyone knew like, oh, this is gonna be a banger. This is gonna be another soundtrack, right? Shrek. They
Funky
did it
Town
again.
remix.
Funky Town. Nez, thoughts on? Do you think like Shrek 2 rivals Shrek 1?
No, I don't. But I do. I think it's a good movie, good animated movie. I'm fine with us drafting it. I don't think it rivals Shrek 1. I like it. And I actually have had this debate with people in the past. I was in Vermont and we had a Shrek movie marathon. We watched all 3 of the Shrek movies. And somebody I was trying to convince me of that, but I think the original is just best. And then, obviously Shrek 2 is a formidable sequel. It's good. And it is a quality sequel, which is an achievement in itself because most sequels aren't good. But as for comparing it to the original Shrek, I just don't. I'm not with that.
It did feel like Shrek 2 was trying to do some of the things Shrek 1 did so well. Like in terms of like replicating, it's like the song at the end. Livin' La Vida Loca, electric song to end the movie, but you're copping off like I'm a Believer in the first Shrek.
Right.
That's the one that sticks out to me. I would also say if I'm arguing Shrek 2 on Ricky's side, Puss in Boots.
I was about to say, yeah, Puss in Boots, like awesome in this. The Fairy Godmother is also good in this as well. I think they expanded this universe, like almost to a point where, looking back on it, it's like, wow, they like expanded it 20 times. Oh, the fairy tale characters, but
It's like
end of the day,
Spider-Verse, you
it
know, it's like what
works.
they did.
Yeah, but it
Yeah.
works, and that's exactly what a sequel, especially an animated sequel, when you have the ability to do that, should do. So, like, I love Shrek 2. I think looking back on it now, I don't love it as much as Shrek. But I understand why people like Shrek 2 more than Shrek, and it's also hilarious. Like, it is literally one of the funniest movies in the 2000s outside of like the Judd Apatow movies.
hmm I would say replicating too. I would say like them just using the gingerbread man again in like a same type of way, but like making it a tiny more funnier, but it like make him bigger and like have him travel more. It's just like you're kind of leaning on him and those scene stealing moments, but also like there's incredible cameos from the fairy tale cast again with like Puss getting caught with the catnip as if it's cocaine. That's one of the like the funniest. I
Cops,
laugh every single time. He's like, that's not mine. And like Pinocchio, when he's lying about wearing women's underwear, it's like countless times. I felt like it was like Shrek 1, it was more condensed, like most origin movies are. But I would also say Shrek felt PG. Well, I would say after that comment wouldn't make much sense, but Shrek 2 is more G. Or it's like Shrek is more PG-13, Shrek 2 is more PG, just because it has a more family aspects to it. Could be wrong.
Would you say that the raunchier Shrek 2 just didn't tug at your heartstrings as much as the original?
I mean, I cried during the first one, so yeah. No, I would say the second one, it was it just grew in size. Like the movie grew in size, and it just
Prince Charming, like trying to take
it wasn't
Fiona.
as much as like when they first fall in love. It was a truly fairy tale type of feeling to it. This one kind of just felt like this is now expanding the Shrek franchise, but something about being the smaller scale of the first one that I don't know, just tugs at the heartstrings a little bit more. I think I agree with that.
Yeah, I would agree. But moving on, my third pick on the snake. You took the Lego movie from me, and I'm not happy about it. And this next one is next on my big board, but I'm gonna have to take it from you here, Doc. I'm picking Klaus. I don't think it would get back to me. If it would, it's on me. But Klaus, Netflix announcing themselves to the animation game here. Nothing like introducing yourself to this type of game with a Christmas movie and an origin Santa Claus movie, and one where Santa Claus isn't even the main character, but it's just a great storytelling device that they use here with the postman Jason Schwartzman and integrating a J.K. Simmons Santa Claus that's totally believable. Great voice casting there with J.K. Simmons, and again, I think this is unlike the usual Disney animated movie. It's darker with the sadder themes, the tones, and it appeals to adults more so, but it still appeals to kids, and it has those holiday vibes still, even with the sadder, darker themes and tones. So, all in all, I do love this movie. This is one of my favorite Christmas movies, Klaus.
Nez, you seen Klaus?
Yeah, of course, Klaus. I saw Klaus before. I have nieces that made me watch it. I'm upset. I was prepared to go on a run of just all Christmas movies for the rest of my draft. And now I have to change my strategy. I love this movie. I thought about drafting it in the first round. I thought I could get it later. Was a little bit of a mistake in my draft strategy, but a strength in Ricky Flix's. This movie is a great journey. It hits all of the things that you're going to want with a good Christmas movie, and that it's a great story, meaning of Christmas, kindness, all of that nice stuff. Really fun, well animated, and kind of out of left field. Nobody really expected us to have something, but I think we discussed this before in the pod that this is an eventual Christmas classic and a great one.
Yeah, this feels like payback a little bit from Ricky Flex. When I took the Lego movie, he's going to take Klaus from me. I agree with Ricky. Like, this is a unique take on the origins of Santa Claus, and it's really hard to find your way into that niche group, that upper echelon of Christmas movies that people rewatch every single year. They're watching the 25 Days of Christmas. And I know this one's on Netflix, so it's a little hard. It's not as accessible as if you have cable, but I think it belongs there. It really, you see a lot of new Christmas movies. They seem cheesy, or which is a part of being a Christmas movie, but you don't take it seriously. I think because this is animated, it really can capture your heart and the Christmas spirit. J.K. Simmons is up there with one of my favorite Santa Clauses of all time, right next to Tim Allen, up there, like the two-headed monster up top, right? This is a awesome pick. If the animation looks cool, kind of was an announcement that Netflix is here in terms of animation. We might see them later on in the draft. There's someone to look. They're one of the top in the game in terms of studios with animation right now. I can't wait to talk about some of their future movies because I was doing some homework prior to this pod, watching a couple of their films, and they're really brewing up something special over there. So good. Klaus, third round, kicked off. Ricky Flicks, 7th overall. It's now on to me. Middle of the third round. I'm going to go with a movie that I'm not sure if you guys have seen. I watched it for the first time a couple months back. I also watched it again last night in preparation. Rango. Have you guys seen the movie Rango?
I was literally just talking to someone about this. I have not seen it, and it was on Netflix forever. And I was like, oh, I should watch this tonight. And Paramount. I was like, I don't want to waste my time with this movie. Johnny Depp, I don't know. I've never seen it, but I always wanted to.
Naz, you seen it?
I have not seen it, but just looking at the numbers here, 7.2 IMDb, 88% Rotten Tomatoes. Got to put this on the watch list here. It's as Ricky said, it's been on. It was on Netflix forever, and I just see this lizard all the time. I think I was in the theater at a certain point, and they were promoting it super hard. And it was that, they had a board of it, and I was going to the movie theaters and seeing it, seeing the advertisements for it, but I've not seen the actual movie. Tell us about what you like about it.
Yeah, let me sell you on this because this movie is freaking awesome. This is actually my number 4 on the big board. I didn't anticipate Ricky Flicks was going to draft it. So this one's directed by Gore Verbinski. You might know him from Pirates of the Caribbean. He did 1, 2, and 3. Works frequently with Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp in this movie, spectacular, so good. What's interesting about Gore Verbinski and Johnny Depp and the rest of the cast here is that they actually they acted out their characters in real life, and then they put it to animation. It's pretty cool. It's like a very unique way to animate films. Like even they made the actors actually go out in the middle of the desert, act a certain way, or put them on a set, and then they matched their motions to the animation. But what else? I view when I was watching this is a more mature animated movie. It might not look that way, especially when Nickelodeon Films comes across the screen. You think of SpongeBob SquarePants, like immediately, or Jimmy Neutron or Fairly Odd Parents. But here it's a Gore Verbinski film, and Johnny Depp's at the center of it. And he's like this gecko who is like a fish out of water going into this small town, right? Out west. It kind of hijacks and pays homage, I should say, to a bunch of spaghetti westerns, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, but also it has it's like a cinephiles type of animated movie. So not only does it reference those spaghetti westerns, you'll get like a Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas moment with Rango at the beginning. Obviously Johnny Depp in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. There's a nice wink there. There's also like a Lord of the Rings reference like that you'll catch if you're paying attention, but also has really mature themes on like identity, like becoming yourself, and like Rango doesn't have a name at the start of it. Like him trying to carve out this life and carve out this identity. It's pretty cool to see. And also the backdrops and the visuals look like you would see in a spaghetti western with the sunsets and the mirage. There's a great cameo at the end that I will not spoil. Good. This is a pretty sweet movie. I would highly recommend it if you to anyone who hasn't seen Rango. This it's on Paramount Plus right now if you guys want to stream it.
And correct me if I'm wrong, if you guys know, but I think this is the movie before Spider-Verse 2019 Oscars, 2018 movie. This is a 2011 movie, 2012 Oscars. I think this is the previous movie that won Best Animated Film that was not a Disney or Pixar movie. So from 2013 to 2018 was all Pixar and Disney. So we now both are off the board, but interesting little tidbit there. Nickelodeon film. I again have not seen it. I want to see it.
It's like super mature. Like Ricky, you're gonna love it because you like the movie Chinatown. This is like an animated Chinatown in a way. That's another like homage it pays to. Like the plot of the movie, it's like water, trying to access water. They know they know, like Gore Verbinski knows, like he has Chinatown in the back of the audience's minds, right? And so it's like it talks about corruption, access to water, things like
That's
that.
so.
It makes you
it's so
think of other
weird.
movies. It's really cool.
It's so weird because like when you look at the Gecko, the movie poster up on Netflix or Paramount Plus now, it's like, oh, that looks like Paul Rudd's character in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You
Yeah.
know, like it's just
It,
like you
it,
wouldn't expect this type of movie.
it got caught in the Pixar vortex in 2011, you know? So it's like, even though it might win Best Animated Feature, it's still not memorable. It's not
Well,
caught in the consciousness of audiences, but like that's our job here. Let's talk about it a
that
little bit more. I think you guys
that
will love it.
that makes so much sense. Up, another Best Picture, or sorry, one in 2009, the Up, and then 2010, Toy Story 3 nominated for Best Picture. Two Pixar movies right before it, two of their most successful ever, and then the next year the Best Animated Feature is going to get overshadowed by the previous two, of course.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's just in the vortex, you know? Cool. I can't wait to hear you guys' thoughts on it. But with that being said, Nez, let's wrap up the third round.
All right. I've been racking my brain trying to change for my my Christmas strategy here. I think I got a decent path here. So my next pick is going to be one that is, I feel like, fell under the radar, but if as soon as you see that movie poster or you think about it, you're gonna be like, oh man, I loved this movie back in the day. And that movie is Robots.
Nice.
Robots was a heck of a movie back in the day. Good versus evil. Really just classic, rooting for that hero. You know, not like an anti-hero or anything like that, like Shrek. It's just like a really nice guy trying to, you know, do right by the world. And I just completely forgot about it. I think I saw it on Twitter or something, and somebody was like, I know everybody forgot about this movie, but like, I remember this one too, right? And it was just the movie poster for Robots, and I was like, oh my god, this movie rocked my world back in the day. I love that one. So yeah, wrapping up round 3 with Robots. What do you guys think about that one?
Ricky, your thoughts?
No, so now my top 15 here, but honorable mention. Again, like this one, like I remember Robin Williams being a voice casting here.
Mm-hmm.
Was he the villain? Who was the villain? Was it him or Mel Brooks?
Mel Brooks is in the movie.
Right. It might have been Robin Williams being the villain. But I remember that this one didn't touch me as much when I was a kid. This was 2005. So like we talked about Shrek 2 in 04. 06 was Madagascar. Like this one just for me got kind of caught in the weeds, but I did see it. I did like it, but just not as like iconic for me, I guess. But no, still a good movie.
Let me just hit you guys with the cast real quick. We got Robin Williams, Ewan McGregor, Jennifer Coolidge, Amanda Bynes, Mel Brooks.
The Amanda Show. Who could forget?
Pretty
Dude,
far.
I'm seeing like
far.
Halle Berry on here too, Greg Kinnear. Like this is a good cast.
Great cast.
You know when because this came out, what, 05? Is that what you said? 05?
Yep.
So like this movie I put in, I'm gonna tease a pick. I don't know if you guys are gonna say it, but I put this in the same like category as like Fishtail. Like those two movies. Is it Fishtail?
Shark Tale?
Shark Tale. God damn it. Right. What was I thinking of? But like Shark Tale and this one, like I put them in the same category. They came out during the same time. We definitely saw these like previews, and then we saw the movies as kids. And maybe it was like a kid's birthday party for like one of our friends, or maybe the kid we didn't like too much. We wanted to make him feel good, so we went to like see Shark Tale, or we went to see Robots. But no, this is in that prime stage, almost like that. Maybe a couple of years ago was like when I saw Spy Kids 3. You know, it's like that encapsulated era. I like that. That's an authentic pick again. Nez.
Robots, by the way, was 6 on my big board. Big Robots guy.
Wow.
Robots guy.
Moving on. I am in between 2 picks right now, but I think I can get my last pick as the last overall. Hopefully it doesn't get stolen from me, but hey, we will see. So I'm going to go with Ice Age here. Again, childhood, just a great classic movie. You watched it almost, within the first couple weeks of it coming out, and I'm telling you, man, it just generated a buzz within the elementary school. Kids quoting it, talking about the funny little squirrel thing, trying to get his nut the whole time. just like it was a great funny movie, and also under that same category of movies that you go to a birthday party. As you could tell, I'm pretty nostalgic about a lot of these picks.
Yeah, that's definitely like the underlying theme, or maybe the overt theme. But I was gonna say, didn't something happen with the squirrel recently? Didn't he like
He
die
got
or
his nut.
something?
No, he
Oh, he
got his
did get
nut
the nut.
He
No,
got
so
his
the
nut.
opposite. No, he's
Yeah.
living now.
at the end of like the last final one. I think. Yeah, he got the nut.
Oh, yeah, that was an electric moment on Twitter when that video was spreading. Ice Age, like it was also great cast. And that was like was it Ray Romano,
Yeah.
Dennis Leary. It's like these guys, they aren't the biggest names, but they fit the cast so perfectly. They're not like heading a Pixar movie. It's like it's this instead. And it's just like they are very distinct and recognizable voices. Ray Romano is one of the most recognizable voices, I think, in the game. Dennis Leary is like perfect for this cougar, or what was he again?
Saber-tooth tiger.
Saber-tooth tiger. Sorry, I'm not good with my my animal
Yeah,
names.
cougar
Yeah.
shit.
I think I messed that up earlier. No, I was just
No.
gonna say he's just like he's perfect as like a Boston dude, snarled mouth kind of guy. Will just give it to you no matter what you're whatever you're saying to him. You know. What were we gonna say though, Ness?
Mhm. Oh yeah, we got just to go keep piggybacking on the casting. John Leguizamo, Jack Black, Cedric the Entertainer. Yeah, I'm a big Leguizamo fan, but yeah, no, just a fun movie, memorable, and I think people still think about it and talk about it to this day. So yeah,
Yeah, like again, like this is 2002. Like I remember seeing this in the theaters. This is right after Shrek. Again, this is right after the height of Disney and Pixar in the 90s. So like
Yep.
you have Shrek and then Ice Age here. It's like holy crap! All right, other people could do this. Like all right, and this is one of those. And Sid to this day a snap filter. Like still we haven't mentioned Sid. Like
True.
that's huge. So
Whenever you it's a great meme. Whenever you're describing a girl on the internet, right, might not be the best, might have the eyes separated a little too much, right? Sid meme, boom.
Sid meme or Scrat, the squirrel. But yeah, no, this is a great pick. Yeah, I don't know if this would have gotten back to you, so good pick.
Okay. Ice Age, round 4. Now on to my round 4 pick, and I'm playing chess in my mind against Ricky Flicks. Right? I don't know where he's gonna go. He could take with this movie that I think that he'll most likely go with. I'm gonna go with the movie I watched recently. And it was good, and it was not just good. I thought it was great. It's a uniquely animated movie, 2021 movie. And then we talked about Netflix earlier with Klaus. I'm gonna have them stepping it up a little bit with Mitchell versus the Machines. Have you guys seen that movie?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Seen it, Naz? This is one of the not only best like animated family movies I've seen. This is one of the best just family movies we've had in the last like 5 years, I want to say. Like this is super heartfelt. And kind of I have a personal connection to it. I think a lot of people will when they watch it. It's about a family who doesn't exactly mesh or communicate well together, and they need to come together when there's this AI that takes over the world. And at the core of the story, it's this father and this 17-year-old daughter. And the 17-year-old daughter doesn't see eye to eye with her dad, and vice versa. She's like tech based, and he is like adverse or in opposition to technology. And it kind of like when you watch it and you're like our age watching it, you think about like your relationship with your mom or your dad. Like for me specifically with my dad, and like when I was like 16 to 22. Wouldn't say like we had the strongest bond. I think our relationship's better now, but it seems like that movie tackled like a theme or something that happens in everyday life when teenagers can't relate and they live such different lives than their parents, and then they grow distant from one another. I think that's a thing that happens in real life, and it will get you super emotional at the end. I had a shed or two tear. I had a tear when watching this movie. It really got you in your feels. Animation wise, it's Phil Lord and Chris Miller that are producing again from the Spider-Verse crew. I would say the animation's good. It goes the 3D and 2D mixture. It's almost like overstuffed with animation in a couple ways. I like to call it like Twitch stream animation. Like by the way, like certain like rainbows are popping up, colors like hearts and like all these other images, and then they'll cut to like a fully 2D image, jump back to 3D. It feels like it was made for a kid to make sure they are still engaged and they don't get distracted, and then make sure they don't like veer off and do something else. It's great for capturing attention. But yeah, I like this movie a lot. Yeah, Mitchell versus Machines, also AI versus human, very timely type of topic right now, and it's a hilarious movie. It is a funny movie, but I really enjoyed this one. I thought I would go with a different movie that wasn't available back when we did the draft the first time. So Mitchell's versus Machines.
I like this movie. It's definitely emotional. And again, I love the girl in it. It's big. It's a filmmaking. Gotta love that. The dad's great. Like he's more of a camper, Boy Scout
Danny
versus.
McBride.
Yeah, like really good. I like this movie. I didn't love it, but again, like Netflix, this is good for them. Different take on their animation too. Didn't look necessarily like a Netflix movie that we are accustomed to with the animation. So I did like that. That added to their bag a little bit. That diversification. Overall, like you're right, Doctor. Like good story. Overall, great movie.
If we had a draft again, we talked about like supporting characters in animated movies, like the Erics, like the AI robots in this movie, I thought were awesome. I thought they were really good, and
Eric's.
they were so funny. But yeah, I just wanted to also say like the AI stuff, not AI, but like the tech thing is so prevalent. You know, when it comes to like your parents like not knowing how to use certain apps and like almost looking down upon you when you're using smartphones, or when you're like, okay, you're not locked in, you're like, and then you have to explain to your parents like this is kind of essential right now, and they just don't get it. I think it just captured that so well. And so it's a movie for kids, but definitely like if a dad watches this, they'll tear up 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay. Fourth rounder, Ricky Flex.
All right. I honestly thought I thought I would have like more definitive answers. I think I had more questions than answers here. Not good. I'll go with one that I think has to be picked, and that's Kung Fu Panda. I think that's just like someone's yelling at the phone or the YouTube channel right now. Kung Fu Panda has to be picked. And again, it's I feel bad because now this does feel like a Dr. O pick because Jack Black is his guy. Skadoosh himself is his guy. But again, I love a Dustin Hoffman here. Like again, you have a Seth Rogen kind of dipping his toes in the animation game here. We like it familiar with all these movies, great voice cast, but again, a great like underdog story that you root behind. And again, it's a unique one because it's a panda again doing martial arts, kung fu. So it makes it like so like yes, kids love this movie. It's funny, the skadoosh, yeah. But then again, it appeals to adults as well. You get that sports metaphor underdog story, like I mentioned. And again, similar to like with the dad thing, it's not as deep as Mitchell versus the Machines, but again, like Poe's dad is not a panda. It's a duck, and he wants him doing noodles, but he wants to do kung fu, and he's a panda. And it makes no sense he's doing kung fu. I love this movie. It had to be picked.
Naz, you're a Kung Fu Panda guy.
I like Kung Fu Panda. I think it's based off of a story, an old story that's been retold in several different ways. And I actually kind of like that. It's a nice journey and it's fun. It's engaging, and it also leaves you thinking. So hits all my marks. I'm a big fan.
Ricky, I wanted to say, like, this is the movie I was talking about where, like, I know you're going to take it, but I'm not going to take it. Because I picked this in my last draft. I wanted to have a totally different board when I looked at, like, this one compared to my last one. But I do like Kung Fu Panda more than Mitchell versus the Machines. Mitchell versus the Machines might be, like, a better movie in my eyes, but Kung Fu Panda, like, it's just a personal thing. It's a Jack Black thing. Like, he's always Dewey Finn in my heart. Like, I will never, like, I should have never crossed him. I should have never crossed Jack Black. But they're making a TV show with Jack Black returning to Netflix. Dude, another movie. What?
A fifth one.
Oh my God. But Netflix is in charge of the show now.
That is insane how Netflix is in charge.
Yeah. And
because
Jack
this
Black,
was DreamWorks.
Because I think was it a Nickelodeon show for a little bit? Wasn't there a Kung Fu Panda show that was like something previously? I could be wrong, but maybe. I thought there might have been something. But Jack Black, I was listening to an interview with him, and he said when Netflix called, he instantly said yes. Like he wanted to play Poe again. But then Netflix doing it with like their reliability and animation recently, said he jumped on the opportunity. Good pick, Ricky Flex. Your fifth rounder.
Okay. I'm trying to do the same thing as you. I don't want to take the same as last time, right? And there's one glaring one I want to take so bad, and I haven't changed my affinity towards it, but I'm not going to do it. So then it comes down. I'm going to pick something that wasn't picked last time. I'm going to do the Simpsons movie.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. Damn.
I'm going to do it. The
have it on my
bubble,
board.
the dome. This one is I'm not a big Simpsons guy. Hand up. I like the Simpsons, but I'm not on the couch on every Sunday night, whatever it's on Fox, and watching this. Just never been that guy. This movie though, we got this as a family on DVD. We watched it right away. We love this movie. Everyone loved it. Our mom loved it. It was raunchy too. There's the Spider Pig element. Everything about this movie, loved it. And again, good story. Like bringing the dad back in, not on the same wavelength as his kids, works so well with the dome, him being responsible for the dome, them having to go to Alaska. Like it plays every note while also being the core Simpsons and also being hilarious to non-core Simpson fans as well. And I love this movie. 2007. I feel like this movie today has aged well, surprisingly. So Simpsons movie, my last pick.
Yes, thoughts.
Honestly, I like this. I like this as a pick. Very, it diversifies the board, and I think it's actually well deserved. I was thinking about it. It's on my big board here. It's a fun movie. It's hilarious. Spider Pig, of course, and I remember it being a pretty big deal when it came out.
Yeah,
Dude.
Flanders having a prominent role here too. People forget about that. It's crazy.
The longest running show of all time finally gets a movie, and it kills. It is so freaking funny, dude. Like this movie, I remember watching it with our family on repeat. We're not even a Simpsons family. We bought it on DVD. I guarantee you, like, I'm glad you brought it up, Ricky Flicks, because I will be watching the Simpsons movie tonight. I thought I was animated filmed out from preparation for this pod, but nothing will tire me out from watching the Simpsons movie.
Also,
that shit is so funny.
Great movie poster with the donut and Homer.
Yeah.
Great movie poster.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Ricky, I want to do a throwback review.
I think it
pod.
birthed a pretty good game, Simpsons Hit and Run. I think that was like
Yes.
around the same time.
Oh
Yes.
my God, dude! Tell me you never been to a bowling alley if you never played that game. Like every single time you play the Simpsons Hit and Run game, then you do Rampage. 100%. That's always there. Cool. Fine. Fifth round. So I'm deciding whether I go with like a movie that it's like, oh, good pick, impressive, nice recommendation, or one that means a lot to my heart. I'm torn. I feel like if this movie doesn't show up on our big board, we might not look legit. But this other pick that I want just means a lot to me. It's one of the first movies I ever saw in theater.
Go with your heart.
Let's go with Chicken Run.
Nice.
Go with
Sequel
Chicken
coming later this year. Dawn of the Nugget.
Chicken Run. We're getting a sequel 23 years later. This movie makes me think of my Nana, unfortunately not with us anymore, our great-grandmother. Kingston, New York. We went to see Chicken Run. I think it's one of my second or third movies I ever saw in a movie theater. And it's on Netflix now. If you guys wanted to watch it, I rewatched it prior to this pod just because I'm like, I want to get in my feels a little bit, just I've been talking about my emotions a lot so far in this podcast. I'm just letting it rip. Chicken Run. This movie, what I noticed, have you guys seen this movie recently? Either of you?
Not recently.
What I thought of immediately when I started to watch the first scene, because these chickens, like the whole concept, like they're stuck, they sleep together in closed quarters, they're not allowed to leave, and they have this this dictator, right, with Mrs. Tweedy and Mr. Tweedy holding them in. And she comes in with black boots on, they're lined up in rows. I immediately was thinking, like at the beginning, like, is this an allegory to the Holocaust? That's what I thought the movie was.
Oh
And
my God. With the lineup and the fences.
And they sleep right next to each other, shoulder to shoulder. They're trying to get out, and like she's taking them one by one, and she's then she's killing them. The idea of like fainted
You're not
away.
pitching this well to people that haven't seen it.
No,
But
then I looked it up. Then I like Googled it, and like people actually do think this. But the movie actually it's as you keep watching it beyond the first 15 minutes, it becomes more of like The Great Escape, which is a famous 1960s film where it's like these POW Allied troops are being
we should have gone with that.
Are going out of this German war camp, and that's what it actually is. That's the intention. Like the music goes along with it really well. Like
Mel
a Hogan
Gibson.
Heroes. It's like a Hogan Heroes type of vibe. No, but Mel Gibson's perfect as like the cocky, rocky rooster. Great name for the rooster too. This is the Aardman movie that I like best personally. I'm not a big Wallace and Gromit guy. I'm more of a Chicken Run dude. So it's got that going for it. And what I never noticed is like this movie's like 84 minutes. You're in and out. There is no first act really. Like it kind of skips over. Like the movie starts and you have the female hen, forgot her name. She's like trying to escape immediately. Like there's no like character introductions or anything like that. It's like, nope, we're trying to get out of this. And we're like, okay, we get it. Let's keep on moving with the film. But Chicken Run, 5th rounder.
Ginger.
Yeah. Thoughts?
Ginger was
Great
her
pick.
name.
Great pick. I actually never thought about any of those, anything that you mentioned regarding, what, you could use this as or how you can kind of tie it to anything else other than a movie about chickens. But actually that made me think, and that's really, I'm not trying to tease you.
Dude, I sound like such a weirdo, but I'm telling you, watch this movie again. It only takes an hour and 20 minutes of your time.
Yeah.
Watch the first 10 minutes and be like, are they talking, this is the Holocaust. And then this lady, Mrs. Tweedy, I would say, alongside Dolores Umbridge, probably the most evil female character in a kid's movie.
She's up there. Yeah.
She's like Nurse Ratched level. She is.
This
like
movie scared me as a
evil.
kid, and I was
Okay.
scared.
She is ugly as hell, and she's scary. And Mr. Tweedy seemed like he was just a shell of himself whenever she was around. But yeah, she's absolutely awful. And I don't know anybody else from the cast. I looked at it. I was like, these are all British people, whatever. And
I don't recognize.
They went on. They probably maybe stage actors or something, or they
name?
continue to work with Aardman.
Yeah. Freaking Order of the Phoenix woman's in this.
I definitely know you're
Staunton. Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter.
I know that. I was kidding. But what character? Do you know?
Bunty. Don't know who that is in Chicken Run.
Okay. But yeah, great stuff. All right, Mr. Relevant or Mrs. Naz, what do you got?
I'm glad that my pick made it to my last pick here of the last round. This one holds a place near and dear in my heart just because I watched it as a full-grown adult. I watched it when I was like 19 or 20 years old, and it killed me. I love that. I love this movie. It absolutely rocked. Great music. A really fun watch, and I can go back and watch it right now, and I guarantee I would still enjoy it, and that is Sing.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if you guys have seen Sing, but
Saw it
that
in
movie
theaters.
is awesome. Wait, hold on, I missed that. What was that?
Saw it in theaters.
You saw it in theaters? I love that. Amazing. Great. That probably was a great experience in theaters. I didn't catch it till it was on Netflix, but I remember the first time I watched it, I was like, okay, whatever. I'm just going to sit down and watch this animated movie or whatever. And then like by the end of it, I'm like up on my feet. I'm like, let's go, Gorilla, bring them home. Let's go. Like I'm going crazy about this. And it's just a great fun movie with a great story and a good cast. Sing, one of my favorites.
I never saw it. Like they've had 3 of them now, right? Did Sing 3 just come out? Did Sing 2?
Sing 2 just came out.
Sing 2 just came out. Did you see the sequel? Did you like that one?
I haven't seen the sequel. I haven't been able to convince anybody to watch the sequel with me.
Maybe Ricky Flex will go with you in 70 millimeter. So I think this movie's interesting because it comes after the reconnaissance a little bit, and it's like him like finding a different groove after that insane 4-year run. And it seems like recently this is what he has been known for, is this little cute koala that is like a master at bringing together all these different talents and things like that. But I'm interested in seeing it just because I know it's on cable a lot. I don't have cable anymore, but it's probably on ABC Freeform, I think, a decent amount. But the cast is always great. Like Taron Egerton, I love him, and I want to see what he does here. He's obviously a musical talent with like Rocket Man and things like that. But yeah, It's a good pick. Just I'm not as familiar. I know it's huge with kids.
Illumination.
Oh yeah, big time, big fun movie. Dr. O, you gotta clip that. You coming full circle with Ricky flicks right there. That was awesome. You gotta
Yeah.
clip that. You gotta go from the beginning. That was amazing. That was awesome. Well done.
So it's Illumination. So you went with Sing, but Illumination gets left off the big board. No Despicable Me from this squad. No Gru.
Despicable Me dropped in our last draft as well, I noticed. But I'm not a big Despicable Me guy, so I think the minions are kind of annoying. I think they're pretty stupid. Yeah, I've just been around way too many grown adults dressed as them on Halloween to even think about picking that.
I think Minions left a sour taste in people's mouths on this franchise. Like people are just like, like people, especially people our age, that like have a distaste for like that young crowd, the ones that are dressing up for the Minions premiere. Like dressing up for Barbie's okay, but dressing up for Minions, it feels like you're making fun of it. You're not like actually rooting for the movie to do well or anything like that. But
yeah. I think people have a weird thing about them, though. I think there's like some grown adults that like love Despicable Me and they love the Minions, and like sometimes they talk like them or something, and they make TikToks or something. Like yeah. No, there's another side to this whole Despicable Me stuff. No, you gotta dig deeper.
We're going Holocaust, pick and run. We got
dude. Oh my god. Well, this is what I meant to talk about. Shit. Talk to Me. The movie I went to go see. Talk to Me, the new A24 horror movie, and the girl's ringtone was the Minions, like in the movie. And so that's why I kept thinking in my head, like, where did I just hear the Minions? Like, and it's like literally, there's oh my god, there's this demon on the other side, like literally trying to murder people, and like she has his Minions phone call every 2 seconds. That was my biggest beef with the movie. I'm like, what are we doing right now?
It's getting a sequel.
Nah, it's just Gru.
Now you're starting to see the lines.
Yes. Gru's goated though. Gru's goated though. He's a great character. I have so many movies left. I would like to do another round if we could. I think the one that I was debating on is Spirited Away. That was like the one where I'm like, how can we leave this movie? Especially when how anime is so massive right now. This is like the most successful anime movie of all time, alongside Princess Mononoke. I believe that was late 90s rather than the 2000s. Yep. But this movie was amazing visually, but also the themes of the movie. It just literally explores every theme in the book, like greed, how to treat your elders. It really honors like Asian culture. It just seems like that movie was transcendent for a lot of people. I don't know if we're at the time we are with anime without Spirited Away. That movie's sick. That's great. I had students that were watching it in an English class, and I sat in on the English class. I wanted to watch it. And the teacher said it was okay if I chilled. So I just watched Spirited Away for an hour and a half. It was great.
Yeah.
Very nice.
That's a great movie. Tough miss for us. Back-to-back drafts of animated movies outside Disney and Pixar that we didn't pick it, but it's okay.
It is okay. And now I think it does take a particular taste, just like you have to like anime, but also have the familiarity of anime from 2000. So much has happened with expansion of animated films since 2000. It kind of leaves Spirit Away in the dust. Other honorable mentions, Ricky Flex, give us one or two.
Same year, 2001, my first ever movie in theaters, Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius.
Great movie. We're the Kids of America.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes. I wanted to pick that.
A girl voiced Jimmy Neutron in the movie, but a boy voiced Jimmy Neutron in the show?
I saw that on social media recently, last year, and I didn't know if that was true. So I'm glad to see you confirm that.
It's facts.
The one I was thinking about picking in the draft that I picked last time was Road to El Dorado. Again, I love that movie. El Dorado. Elton John kills it. SpongeBob SquarePants movie. Love that movie as well. That's a great movie theater experience. And I'll just lastly say Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Wes Anderson.
Yeah. Stop motion animation works so well with Wes Anderson. George Clooney, awesome voicing the main fox in there, main character there. Love it with the frames. Wes Anderson feels the comedic quirks and twerks that Wes Anderson does with the stop motion. It's so amplified in this movie. I love that movie. I didn't watch it last time we drafted. That was one that was seriously in consideration for me. Those are like my main honorable mentions.
Have you seen Isle of Dogs with Wes Anderson?
Started it, didn't finish it. I will at some point though.
I would like to see if those movies are streaming. I don't think those are bad for the Rex. I'm gonna.
Isle of Dogs is actually on Disney Plus, I think.
Ooh, okay. I'm gonna watch Simpsons movie and Isle of Dogs probably tonight. That's pretty good. Nice. Nez, any honorable mentions that you wanted to bring up before we wrap it up?
Oh yeah, I got a million. So I just want to talk about my original draft strategy where I draft Shrek and Madagascar, and then I rattle off back to back on Christmas picks. I was going to go Cloud. I was going to go Polar Express, and then I was going to go I Am the Grinch. The newer take on the Grinch with Tyler the Creator and Pharrell doing the soundtrack for that. That's a great movie with an amazing soundtrack and very well done. Another thing, honorable mention I have, we got Osmosis Jones. Believe it or not, that did come out in 2001.
I'm shocked you didn't take that.
I thought about it.
It's on your list here. Yeah.
It was between that and Sing, and I could not let Sing go. But otherwise, I would have totally taken Osmosis Jones. Then we got B Movie, good one. Jerry Seinfeld, Happy Feet, very, very funny. I almost wanted to draft it so I could just start off my round by saying, "Don't push me, because I'm close to the edge." And then we got Monsters vs. Aliens, The Lorax, Secret Life of Pets.
What was there was the Lorax. What was the other Dr. Seuss one that came out?
Horton Hears a Who. Jim
That
Carrey,
movie was
Steve
fire.
Carell.
That one was good. I never saw Lorax actually, but that might be fire too. But Horton Hears a
Big on
Who.
TikTok.
I rewatched that a lot growing up. Okay. I also just want to add, we just watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think it's too early to put it on this list. We got to let it sink in a little bit. Lego Batman movie, spin-off of the Lego movie. The Lego movie takes priority in that case, but Will Arnett, there's few animated roles that are casted better than him as Batman. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, and that's one that was one of my favorite movies of last year. But it was the thing about like animated movies when we're drafting them, like this movie felt like for adults. Like Guillermo del Toro continuously says animation is for everybody, and he made that clear with his version of Pinocchio. He's changing the lore a little bit. Use stop motion, a couple movies that we talked about so far with the stop motion, but I think it's good, and the cast is out of this world, and it gets a lot of love at the Oscars. But I have that one. That was a hardo pick though, if I did that. Then lastly, Sausage Party. I thought Sausage Party, that movie is so freaking funny. And it has one of the most.
Man, I didn't even have that on my board. That's one of the.
You picked it last time.
One of the most shocking endings of all time, and one that will definitely. I don't think anyone will forget the Sausage Party ending after you see it the first time. And it might
theaters,
it just gives you a warning the second time you watch it, right? Whether you decide to indulge or not. Okay, Ricky Flicks, I do want you to walk through our draft from last time and just give us the title and give us each person's list.
Okay, so it's funny enough. So same order, me, then the doctor, then Nez was the order 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
My draft, I had the Iron Giant, the Lego Movie, The Road to El Dorado, Surf's Up, shout out Surf's Up, and Klaus. That was my board. Doctor had Into the Spider-Verse, Shrek 2, Kung Fu Panda, Despicable Me, and the SpongeBob SquarePants movie. And then Nez, you had Shrek, and then you had the DQ.
Nightmare Before Christmas.
Madagascar, The Prince of Egypt, shout out Hans Zimmer, and Sausage Party.
I'm going to have to put the visual of the DQ from the graphics. It's so funny. When Ricky sent it to me, I was cracking up. I was going to show Ness right now. It was crazy. I got to find this really quick. Sorry. Oh, can you see it? Shit.
Disqualified.
Just huge lettering across. Yeah, no, amazing. So, any final thoughts here, boys? Nez, any thoughts? How do you think you performed in your first draft back?
Great to be back. It was really nice. Listening back to the old draft, really all over the place. I feel like I put together a nice body of work with this one. Very nostalgic, very wholesome, and I wanted to also paint the picture of me coming back to the podcast as well. Very nostalgic, very wholesome. Super happy to be back on the drive-in.
Very authentic. I thought you did an excellent job, and it felt like you never left. Right? Let's do this more often. Let's get you on more pods, and let's get the Walkman pod going. I think there's some special things happening there. Ricky Flex, any thoughts before we head out?
No, just thank you to Nez once again for coming back on. Been too long. Again, we'll see guest of the year. The biggest
he's on the list now. Yeah.
On the list once again. On the list. We'll see who wins this year. We have a big board already, but again, the more you're on, the higher the likelihood and whatnot. So happy to have you back on here, Nez.
All right. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
And so the reigning winner of Deepa Guest of the Year is Ali, first of his name. So I would love nothing more to see you challenge for Guest of the Year for 2024.
Oh my God, please. That's light work. Work.
He's let it get to his head a little bit. I think he needs to be brought down a peg or two. Okay, so that's our draft. Let me just run through the board, and then we will get us on out of here. Ricky Flicks for the best animated movie, non-Disney or Pixar, 21st century. He has Into the Spider-Verse, Shrek 2, Klaus, Kung Fu Panda, and the Simpsons movie. Dr. O has Across the Spider-Verse, the Lego movie, Rango, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, and Chicken Run. And Nez finally has Shrek, Madagascar, Robots, Ice Age, and Sing. Very exciting draft.